well, now he's actually a Mountain BizWorks coach. So now he's
Oh,
helping
that's
other
awesome.
clients do what he did. And now he's also going to be a facilitator for the next cohort that we start next year.
People just kind of get a check and then, they have to figure the rest out all on their
Yep.
own. We had on
Yeah.
Veronica Edwards, who's also a Biz Radio host. She's a CPA. And she talked about how she actually spends some of her extra time outside of work, outside of, her extracurricular time with Mountain BizWorks, helping coach new business owners on that financial piece, because that's one of the parts that a lot of people love what they do. They love making a certain product, or they've got a certain service that they can do really well, but managing all that the financial piece, the kind of being your own CFO, as well as your own marketing person, as well as your own product designer, as well as all of that can be, some of that can get lost if you don't put in attention on it.
For sure.
Do you have any particularly pieces. Oh, go ahead. Finish that.
No, I was going to say it's one of the biggest gaps that I see with folks, regardless of what stage their business is in. Right, it's just not having a clear understanding of how to manage their finances, their business finances, and oftentimes, I see folks that don't have that separation between personal and business. Right, so they're commingling funds and just really don't understand what their business actually looks like from a financial perspective.
Yeah, a lot of the clients I work with are business owners who have gone into debt and who are now looking to pay that debt off, and we're trying to shorten their time frame from it taking them 20 or 30 years to pay off that debt to 5 to 10 years to pay that off. And so I'm curious if you have any particular success stories or times where you've really seen someone be able to overcome those barriers because of that coaching and because of that support.
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked with one guy that comes to mind. When we probably met over a year and a half ago, and he was just really getting started with his business. And he came to me and said, "Hey, I don't have a business plan yet, and I don't know where to start. I know I probably don't need some funding to get things going. I don't know how much money I need." So he really just had a ton of questions and a strong passion for the work that he was kind of doing as a side hustle. So, once we sat down and talked, I said, you should really, really take advantage of the Foundations business planning class, so that way you can get some things down on paper, get your ideas down on paper. And then, in that Foundations class, one of the most important pieces that they work on is creating financial projections. So understanding, over the course of the first year of your business, what are you going to charge for your services or your products? And what is it going to cost you to actually run this business for a year? So, going through that, he was really able to, figure out what his pricing model should look like. And then and to really get a solid business plan on paper. And then, which meant that he was now ready to go back and have a conversation with a lender to talk about how much money he might actually need to get started. And not only get started, but to also sustain the business for at least that first 6 months, where he's really trying to ramp things up until he can get to a point of breaking even. So, having that conversation with the lender, I remember talking to him afterwards, and him, just talking about how intimidating it was at first, because there were a lot of terms that he didn't understand about balance sheets and profit and loss statements, and, and understanding his own personal taxes and his business taxes. So there were a lot of, just unknowns, for him coming coming to Mountain BizWorks initially. But then he went on to, have that conversation with the lender, and really over the course of a few months to work through the underwriting process and get his, QuickBooks set up, and really get, those financial systems in place so that he could understand what his business was going to look like going forward. And then from there, he went on to take a marketing class to understand who his exact target market is. And then from there, he went on to join what we call the Catalyst Cohort, which is my program, which is a year-long program where folks can set. In the beginning, we sit down and we set strategic goals about what you want your business to look like for the next year. And then so we have about 10 entrepreneurs in this group, and they each hold each other accountable as they're sharing their goals, normally around money, marketing, and management.
Mhm.
Each person has their own goals, and then they work together to really keep each other accountable and keep each other moving towards achieving those goals. Um,
Yeah.
so, just seeing him go through that process, set those goals, and then to work with the group to make sure that they get achieved. And then now he is in position. Well, now he's actually a Mountain BizWorks coach. So now he's
Oh,
helping
that's
other
awesome.
clients do what he did, and now he's also going to be a facilitator for the next cohort that we start next year.
That's awesome. We do have to take a break here. This is a two-part episode, so please tune in again to part two of this conversation with Jeremiah. We're gonna dig in a lot more on his work with neighborhood economics. So until next time, subscribe online, listen to us on Biz Radio and the other hosts, and we'll look forward to seeing you here back next week. Thanks so much for being on, Jeremiah, and for everyone out there, take care of yourself and take care of someone else.
Thanks, Joel.